Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Trumpeter's Call, where the saints of God are evolving into the wonderful, glorious, matchless bride. She is none other than the Lord's wife. I think that's your speaker. It's okay. None other than the Lord's wife. And I'm telling you, she is altogether lovely. She is none other than the church. She is the church. And I know that there is a lot of communication out in the world today concerning the church and what she represents. But I'm telling you, she represents all of that and then some. The best way I can explain it is that she represents every one of the seven mountains of influence. And she is designed by God to shine. And she will forever shine, excuse me, regardless of what type of situation she is in and she will come into. Again, for those of you just joining in, this is the Trumpeter's Call. I'm going to go over just a couple of announcements. Rebecca just did a wonderful job. We do several things at one time. Elder Marcus likes to say that if you can't do at least 3 or 4 things, you can't be a part of the traveling team. Well, the reality is, and so you've got to be able to do more than one thing. So if that's not you, we're not looking for you. That means you're not highly motivated in this area, and we need you to be somewhere else. But if that is you, we're calling you. We need your help. We're looking at taking the productions, not just of the Trumpeter's Call, but Inspire Purpose Television to a whole nother level. So if you have any level of expertise or are willing to learn, let me say that again, any level of expertise and are willing to learn, we want you to give us a call here at Eric Google Ministries, and we're gonna grow together. I had the wonderful opportunity about a week ago to be with my friend Adrian Taylor there in Cape Girardeau, and he was in a session with his producer. They had their cameras out, and we're getting ready to do some consultation with this young man. Really excited about it because he is truly a professional, and we want to take everything that we're doing to a whole nother level. So if you see something that looks out of place, it won't be for long because we're gonna have it together. What you think? We're gonna have it together. Now listen, let me go ahead and throw out a couple of things real quick. Vision Casters Conference. All right, it is here. One of my assistants just said it's 48 hours. And I said, don't say that. I told him, don't say that, because it is 48 hours. And you never feel like you are prepared enough to do what God has told you to do. And so what you have to do is you just got to go with it. You hear me? You can't wait for everything to be perfect. You can't wait till all the right people are going to show up. Can't wait to you got all the right amount of money, you got the right amount of systems and things like that in place. You just got to step out on faith right there where you're at and believe to the best of your ability that you have planned everything that you can. And hopefully, guess what? And hopefully it will go very, very well. I'm not concerned about it going well as much as I'm concerned about you having a great time when you get here. So to all of you that have not registered, I'm going to tell you something. I was coming here this morning, probably about 3:30. And I'm saying, you just need to do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Jump on. What do you mean? Jump on the plane, jump on the bus, jump on the train. You're like, I ain't never did nothing like it before. Well, make this the first time. We call that the law of first mention. Make it the first time that you say, man, I got to go treat myself because I need something. And I'm telling you, without a whole lot of hype, the presence of God is going to be powerful. The altar is already filled with precious cloth that we've been praying over. Check out my page a little later. Check out Inspiring's page. Check out the Trumpeter's Call. You'll see that we're already preparing. And so we're doing exactly what God has designed for us to do so we can be ready for you. So if you are still on the fence of should I not, man, you need to make up your mind and just do it. We got Daytona coming. We've got Illinois coming. We've got other states coming. I'm excited about it. I hope that all Jackson shows up, because I believe that what we're doing here is going to be a blessing to all. Okay. All right. That's it for that. I've got a guest here. Well, she's really not a guest. She's a daughter to the ministry. And she is none other than Stephanie Wilbourn. How you doing?
Doing excellent.
Good. Listen, you have seen her before. She's done an interview with Elder Jackie. Listen, she is a personality all by herself and in her own right of the things that God has designed for her to do. So for the Vision Casters Conference, and we'll put this up. Rebecca, I have it up for us today. There will be a full schedule of everything. Friday is going to be just a full day of teaching and training. You don't want to miss nothing. You don't want to miss anything. I'm not going to go through the names right now. But Saturday night, listen to me. Saturday night, if you will place that up there for us, we've got, Friday night. I'm sorry, what did I say? Saturday. Thank you very much, producer. Friday night, we've got our fashion show. It's Sexes by Stephanie. Listen, and it's going to be awesome. This is linen and denim. All right. You can see her right there in all of her glory. And she's been meeting with her staff and different individuals, getting all of her things ready to go. And so you don't want to miss that. Take a picture of that. Take a screenshot and keep it so you're not trying to write all the information. Just take a quick screenshot of it. Take your phone out, click it. But listen, if you have not registered for the conference, if you've registered for the conference, then you come. It's already in your package. If you have not, you need to go to Eventbrite, and it's $15 before you come to the door. It's going to be $20, right? And listen, I want to tell everybody this, and I want to be very, very specific about it. We made this conference affordable for any and everybody that wants to be here. You hear me? And what you're going to get, I'm not going to make it look bigger than what it is. I'm going to tell you, you're going to get more than what the cost of it is. Why? Because I'm here. And I'm telling you, that's just flat out. And for what we're asking you to sow to the ministry so we can be a blessing to our guests, and then also you're going to get food. You're getting everything that you need to be well taken care of. I know this conference is well over $250, and we're charging our fees. All right. And then we've got some special discounts. But go to Eventbrite, get registered so you can be a part of Vision Casters Leadership Spectrum 2022. We've been working on this for 3 years. Are you listening to me? I think it's about 3.5. It's about 3.5. Am I right? It's about 3.5 years that Elder Neil, myself, and Rebecca have been planning this spectrum. So there's a lot of good information that's going to be there, and it's going to be good. Now, young lady, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay. Listen, can y'all hear her well? Let Rebecca know if you can hear her well. So we've got all that information. All right. Tell us about the fashion show. What are we looking for? I got a host of questions, so I'm just going to jump in. But talk to the people that may have to go to work in a few minutes, and then but talk to the camera. Tell them, what is this fashion show going to be? What should we expect?
Well, you all should expect all of the latest and the greatest creations of Sexes by Stephanie. Those of you out there that don't know who I am a visionary, a creator of all things. I'm a one-stop shop. So we're gonna all the things that's gonna be in there. My brand is unisex, so I designed for the best of both worlds. And all of the pieces are custom made from denim. I take things and refurbish them. I may make things totally from scratch. I'll take denim and just totally reconstruct it, like one of a kind. You won't see yourself around the corner in anything that I make. In the linen pieces, they're just a few customized pieces that I've created for all different ages, all different sizes. It's not a particular size that I particularly create for. All of my things are custom created. Like I make things from scratch. So you can bring pieces to me. You can just give me an ideal and I can just run with it.
So listen, Acts chapter 16, you heard that. Now, she answered like 5 of my questions, but I'm going to ask him again to slow her down just a little bit, because I really want to make sure that this platform that we're using, remember I told you that the Trumpeter's Call is about 5 different things. It's about intercession. It's about declaration. It's about illustration. It's about inspiration. And of course, it's about impartation. So when you come to the Trumpeter's Call, you're not just coming to an intercessory prayer line. You're coming to 5 different portals in which God has given us to be able to speak life and health. And one of the ones that we're going to deal right now is with illustration. Because when you think about Stephanie, right? And one day we'll have a cameraman that'll zoom in, right? But when you think about Stephanie, or if you know Stephanie, that's all right. I'm just kidding. Don't do it, camera lady. Don't do it. Listen, but if you know Stephanie, all right, it doesn't matter when you see her, how you see her, illustration in motion. And that's a really beautiful thing on a lot of different fronts, okay? So here's something that I want to read. This comes out of Acts chapter 16. I've been dealing with this when it comes to divine connections, all right? Divine encounters and divine timings. So Paul makes his way down to Macedonia because someone has said, hey, I come and help. I need you. So he saw in a vision a man, but really it was women by the seaside praying. So somebody says, if you ever want something to get done, just call some good, hardworking women. But, well, I'm going to have to be thrown in that group, just so you know. I'm going to have to be thrown in that group. But the Bible says right here, verse 13, this is Acts 16:13. If you would, somebody, Tam, if you're out there, type that in for us. It says, you got it? Aretha's got it. Thank you, sister, very much, Aretha. All right, we're looking forward to seeing you. Bring all of your dance garments, please. All right. On the Sabbath, we went out to the city by the river side, where prayer was wont or being made. Prayer was wont and being made. People wanted prayer, and it was being made. We sat down and spake unto the women, which resorted right there. They were a group of women down by the seaside. This basically was like the altar, right? It's like what I do, whether in this room or over at the sanctuary. They made the seaside or the riverside a place of altar. It's like Stephanie sitting in front of, if you've seen her backyard, she's got a whole little deal back there. I'm telling you, it's something to look at. You feel me? So go online, check it out. But watch this. It says, and a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple, of the city of Thyatira, worshiped God, heard us, whose heart the Lord opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul. So here is Lydia. She is a woman. She's a seller of purple, fine linen. So when you see Stephanie Wilbourn, what you see is illustration. And illustration is, in this day and time, it's graphics, it's art, it's color, it's fabric. So talk to us about why is illustration or why is colors and fabrics you? Or did you just receive it from your mom or your aunts? Where'd you get it from?
Well, I come from a family where it was my grandmother and 7 sisters, which was my mother and all of her sisters. And
Yes.
My grandmother taught everybody how to sew. And I just remember when we were younger, my grandmother turned her garage in her backyard into their first sewing shop. And so as little kids, she would have us just sitting there fanning her. And I used to be so mad about fanning her. Like, why does she have us fanning her? Like, while she sewed.
Yeah.
And now when I look back on it, it's basically because she was actually teaching us,
Nice.
the skills of sewing, not really knowing back then how important it was going, the role that it was going to play into my future
Nice.
and today.
Yeah.
And she would always talk about the different fabrics, always talk about, like, you do this to that. Well, this will do this, this will do that. Well, you take this and you do that. And I remember they used to get like boxes of dolls, like naked baby dolls.
Yeah.
And they came from the Salvation Army. And we would make doll clothes for those dolls.
How old were you?
I was about 5 when I first really started learning how to sew.
Did y'all hear that? Mothers and fathers. Did you hear that? She said she was about 5. Very notable thing.
Yes.
Do not pass over these skills. You hear me? About 5, sewing baby doll clothes.
Yes. And about a couple of years after that, they came out with Barbie doll patterns. But I was already making clothes, so that was a whole lot more tedious because it was a whole lot more small, a whole lot smaller. So being able to take those little pieces and put them together,
Nice.
and I collected Barbie dolls. I would always, design my whole little house for my Barbies. I made their clothes, So my Barbies were together back then. So that's where.
So you already have pimped your Barbie dolls, huh?
Oh yeah. All my cousins wanted to come over and play with my Barbies, but it was funny because I would just make them watch. I wouldn't let them touch anything, and they tell me to this day, like, "Why would you make us watch you play? You wouldn't let us. You just wanted it on display." So that's where the fabric thing came in, being able to just really touch and feel.
Sweet. Listen, you would love this, and Rebecca's the only one that would know about this, other than if Aaliyah's watching. Rebecca's father, Roy, our dad, Donald, made a dollhouse. Steph, it's got to be every bit of this size. This whole table, and what, about that high? But be about yay high, and I'm talking about gorgeous. So I'm gonna have
I have one in my garage.
You got one like that big?
Yeah, it's nothing in it, but it was Morgan's. I built it for Morgan.
Oh my God, you would love it. It is huge. So listen, So you just heard her talk about fabric, got that from her grandma and her whole family. And so one of the things that I specifically want to know, I wrote down, how do you define yourself? But you answered it, so I'm going to tweak it a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So one of my first questions is how would you define yourself? And you instantly start off, you said, I'm a visionary, I'm a seamstress. And you didn't say an actor, but is that in your...
Oh, yeah, I can act.
You can act?
Oh, no, seriously. When I was in high school, I used to travel. We did Black History plays, and I made all the garments, and we traveled from college to college at Union University here in Jackson, Tennessee, and we traveled to Murfreesboro. So I was actually in plays and stuff also.
Illustration. See, I'm staying with the trumpeter's call. You hear me? Illustration. So you hear this. Now, look. So let's get down to this. When did you get your business name? And I want you to look into the camera, because when people think of sexes, they really don't have a clear idea. And so really that's the definition that you're going to give us. Okay. All right. So if you would, where did the name come from? And just talk to us about your brand. Okay.
When Apostle first said, he said, so you gave us the visionary, and he said, how do you define yourself? I actually define myself as a manifester. I manifest anything that God gives me in my mind. Anything I see, I can take it apart and dissect it and put it together in my own way. And I feel like it's just a craft to that, to be able to have that skill. It's so unique. It's really hard to explain to people sometimes, like how to do that when you're a creator, when it comes in so many different versions of that. Mm-hmm. And the name Sexes actually came from years ago. I've always liked very diverse, unique styles. I never really ever wanted to conform to anybody else's style. I always wore my hair different. Mm-hmm. I always wore my hair short when short wasn't in. Right. I always went against the grain when it came to any type of, fashions or whatever. And growing up, I just always liked suits more so than dresses, only because dresses just didn't fit my style or fit me back then. When I was little in the 80s, the style was totally different than it is now. When people were so conservative about their look, so suits and stuff was more so my style. And then right before I went to college, I started working in a men's clothing store, and I always had this thing about neckties and suits and stuff, but the feminine side of it. And so when I came up with the name of my brand, I was talking to one of my friend girls about it, and I was like, it's got to be something unique. I don't want it to be Stephanie's this, Stephanie's. I said, but I want my name in there, but I want it to be something that really defines me all together in one. Nice. And we were going back and forth over some names, and then I said, what about Sexes? I said, but I know the first time people hear Sexes, the first thing they're going to think about is sex. They're going to think about sex. It has nothing to do with sex. Sexes means unisex. And so I was like, okay, we got the unisex part. That is Stephanie. And then so I came up with Sexes by Stephanie, or Sexes production, or, whatever. But then when I started saying Sexes by Stephanie, I was like, it makes more sense to me because it defines who I am as a person altogether. Because, a lot of people tell you, don't, use your name. I remember when I had an investor, which was my high school sweetheart. And we went back and forth about my name or me being visible for my brand. Mm-hmm. And he was like, people are gonna start recognizing you and gonna, know you, and you don't want to be to where people, like really stalk you. And I was like, my name and who I am and my face is my brand. So, nobody else can really, express or identify or put the imagery of what my brand should be represented as. Yes. And I feel like I'm that.
So check this out, because I think this is really a powerful thing for those that are watching. She says she's a manifester. Mm-hmm. Okay. And most of us are waiting for manifestation, right? We're like hoping that God Just some Kleenex or some stuff. Thank you. We're hoping that God is going to do something for us.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about a person who says that they're a manifester, I wrote down 3 things. I wrote down manifester. Yeah, right here. Thank you, sir. I wrote down manifester. Appreciate you. And then I wrote down influencer and breaker. All right.
You said breaker?
Breaker. Yeah.
Elaborate on
that.
that.
I am. I got you. Just come on. Yep. Thank you, guys. Hey, listen, if you would like to donate to our chiller, see how smooth this is? If you would like to donate to our chiller, we would love to have you donate. We're asking anybody that would willing to give $250, $500, $1,000, and you might want to give $5,000. Rebecca and I are on a trek, listen, to give more than what we're asking other people, but it's hot in here. And so that's why everybody know it's hot right in here. So if we look like we sweat it out, we sweating it. But we're not going to stop the work of God, and we're not going to stop what God has designed for us to do because it's hot. We're not taking any excuses. And I want you, I tell it all like this because I want you to recognize, I don't want you looking all big light screens, this and that, they got it all together. There's a lot of things that we are still working on, and we're working very aggressively. And one of my major prayers every day is, Lord, send me help. I say it. So if you're here to help, help. If you ain't here to help, God bless you. Listen, if you're not helping enough and you think you can help some more, help. We need as much help. I'm telling the truth. As much as possible. Get in where you fit in and take it from there. All right. Move on. I should move on now. But if you want to donate to the chiller, listen. Put the screen up there so they know how to donate. If you send it to me, listen, I'll make sure the church gets it. I ain't gonna steal from God. Don't worry about it. I promise you. We want you to donate to the children. So if you've been thinking about it, like, well, maybe, kind of, and let me tell you something about this real quick. Just recently, a man of God's air conditioner went out, and the Lord prompted me. I don't even know this guy. The Lord prompted me. I just met him. The Lord said, sow to his air conditioner. I know people who were at his event that didn't sow to the air conditioner. Because sometimes people think you're just trying to get over, but this ain't no get over scheme. All right. This is for real. We need a chiller, and we need you to sow. And if God's been prompting your heart, then do so. And if you're a member or you're affiliated with Eric Newman Ministries at all, listen, step out on faith with me. Trust me. If you've been with us for any amount of time, I'll guarantee you've experienced the favor and the prosperity of God. So go ahead, make that commitment. We want to be able to say that you did it. We did it together. And guess what? We're on, and we're going to be sitting in a couple of months in some air. We ain't going to be looking all sweaty, but we still looking good. So manifester, right back to my point. Mm-hmm. When you heard Stephanie say, she says she's a manifester, don't you think that's an odd way to describe yourself? I mean, anybody, somebody give me some snap. Elder Lafayette, teacher, but I'm a manifester. That sounds like what? Who are you? For some of you, it sounds arrogant. For others of you, you're like, wow. I know for Aretha Coleshaw, type in there, amen, Aretha, because I know for Aretha Coleshaw, who is a creator of many things, she's like, oh my God, I can't wait to get in the room with her. So for you manifestors, you don't even know really what you're supposed to be manifesting, but you got so much in your heart. You just got permission by somebody right here who said they are a manifester. They didn't say an influencer. They didn't say, hey, they said a manifester. So I just released. Matter of fact, pray right now. Stretch your hands and say, God, we release the manifestation. Come on, say it out loud.
Release the manifestation
upon your children.
Upon your children.
May they
by
your spirit move with creativity. Ingenuity. And innovation. Holy Spirit. Bring forth more manifest to the kingdom in this world. See, you cannot move too quickly in an interview or anything beyond something like that, because that's not normal. Like, you're not normal. You know what I'm saying? And sorry, if you've been around her, listen to me. If you've been around her any amount of time, the way she talks, I mean, in the way she's moving as a person in the spirit, or just, it's like, we can do that. We can do that. Oh, that ain't hard. And listen, I want to encourage you. Can you put her bio up there again? Any one of her pictures up there that has her information. So for those of you who want to get in contact with her, right there, There's one. Look at the, we're going to just go through a couple of slideshows. Can we do that?
Okay.
Let's go through a couple of slideshows and show you some of her creation. Her Adams, listen, her Adams Apple ascot, they're going to be on display and for sale at the fashion show.
Yes.
You hear me? I got a few. Listen, Bishop's got a few. Click another one for me. Take a picture of that right there. Get her information. You spread it around. Use it. This ain't even telling half of what she's already done. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to pump something, but I want to be clear. What you're seeing as far as her fabric, her Adam's apple, her hats. Please give me the name of the hat collection.
The Hat Bandit.
The Hat Bandit. Her Hat Bandit collection. Her sewing, her creation. Listen, it's a few. She's an interior decorator. You want to talk about that?
Oh, I will come into your space and totally reconstruct it. not rearrange it, but reconstruct it.
Like
because,
this office.
Well, a lot of people live in their space and they have all the right things, but they don't know how to put those things into the right space to create that piece within the space. So I have that capability of going into a space and not necessarily always having to go out and buy something. It's about bringing the right things from other areas within the space to create that space. And so I know that I'm very good at that. Very good at it.
Now, and Rebecca loves it because therefore I don't have to spend a whole lot of extra money. You know what I'm saying? She's like, why you need to go buy some new suits? Just let Stephanie take that and flip it. And by the way, I just want y'all to know, we will have at least one piece on. You hear me? We gonna have a piece that's been done by Sexist by Stephanie, and it will be on display. You hear me? We gonna make it do what it do, baby. I'm gonna tell you right now, Bishop Mark. I know you out there. I'm gonna tell you something. Ooh, yes. Okay, all right. Let's move with this because I got a couple more things I really want to make sure we get to. You just did something, not from the interior decorating, but you just did something from for your friend and her husband.
Okay.
And you created something new. Intimate what? What'd you call that?
It's called the Dusk Till Dawn Intimates.
Dusk?
Dusk Till Dawn. And basically what that is, like, I actually went to their home and they have a beautiful backyard. They have like a little small courtyard, and then you walk up a couple of little steps and then it's like flat land. And I basically set up a gazebo, which was actually a tent, and I made it into a gazebo and created an intimate dinner just for two.
Yeah.
And then I have a bell tent that I put out in the yard, and I basically created a whole bedroom, living room, everything into one space. And the purpose of me coming up with that is to actually bring relationships back together, to bring that fire back into relationships. And it's not just for married people or single people. To me, it's just self-love. Just,
Oh, I like how you said that.
Just self-love, just showing appreciation to yourself and creating spaces and doing things in your home instead of going out of town. Because a lot of people spend so much money and everybody don't have the resources or the money at that time to actually go on vacation. And I've always created those spaces in my home. And like you said earlier about my backyard, like I told you, that's my peace.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like wherever you live, that should be your peace. And as a creator, when I look at pictures, I automatically go to the background first.
Nice.
I go to the background for several reasons, because to me, the background tells so much about the people and how they live and everything about that person and what's going on in their life. If it's confusion, and that's just a part of my gift, to be able to pick up the energies from spaces. Like when people call me into spaces, I always say, I want to come into the space so I can pick up the energy, so that I can create and pick up, the person's energy and what that space needs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because we had a conversation a little bit ago. It's going to be brief. All right. It's going to be, we had a conversation a little bit ago. She went into a space and she was just explaining like, man, the space could be a nice space. And she said, I just had to tell him, Apostle, that this ain't the right energy in this space. And so the power behind that is that you're hearing a manifester, a breaker, because sometimes you have to break the mold of how things are done. All right. You're seeing an influencer able to influence things and move it in a different direction that could be healthy for the person. And so when she said that the space wasn't right, I was like, you said that? She was like, yeah, I mean, the person wants their space to be welcoming for other people. They want the space to be a place of tranquility and solace for themselves. And so she said it. And that's what I love about just communicating and even seeing some of the things. But that dusk to dawn thing, let me tell you something. That thing was fire. I'm gonna tell you right now, seriously. And I even met the lady. That she did that for. Remember that, Rebecca? We met. Yep. We even met the lady that she did that for. And to hear the woman say, this did something to my marriage. This did something for me as a person. I remember her saying that her husband is not really a vocal or an outgoing kind of person. And she was like, babe, that was off the chain. And so, listen, I want to encourage you. Listen, you don't have to be married. You might be dating. You hear me? You heard what she said, self-love. You might just need some space and you can't go to Aruba, Cancun, which I'm hoping I'm going fast soon, right? You know what I mean? Virgin Island. No offense. I know Stephanie wanted, we're going to get out of our backyard. But
it's nothing wrong with it, but be able to come back to something. You
know, you're going to do something in our backyard so we can come back to something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, listen. So we're going to come back to something, but we're going to get away first, though. You know what I'm saying? But in all seriousness, and I'll let her take this over, but that space was wonderful. And when I looked at it, you did something else was crazy out in the field. Had like a TP tent.
Okay,
a dinner thing.
Yes, that's the bell tent.
Talk to us.
That's the bell tent. And the bell tent in itself, if you know anything about energy, there's so many different types of tents out there. And I feel like everything that I do is real intentional because, like I said, it's about the energy in the space. I remember when I first set it up for the first time in Conyers, Georgia, for a baby shower. And when I tell you, when I put the pole up, it was like I got lightheaded a little bit because the energy in the space, when it's anything that has like an igloo or a dome shape, it harnesses the energy. So it was like the energy was just circulating, and I was just in there kind of like trying to get my equilibrium back from it. But it was such an amazing feeling because of what I was getting ready to create within the space. And like he said, the purpose of me doing the intimate setting is also a healing source for me and for other people too. You know, a lot of people feel like self-love or just really creating. When I create things, it's always an assignment to me because God always shows me what the person or the client needs. A lot of people I feel like don't have that capability. Like you have a lot of designers out there, a lot of people that are interior decorators, and they go in and they do what they want. I feel like I go in, even though the client allows me to do what I want, that's only because they've already seen my work, they trust me, and they want to see my vision because of, you know, my execution from other projects that I've done in the past. So, you know, all of that, just being able to go in and create that space, that bell tent has power in it to me. You know, you have to be in it. And I have like this fan that circulates the air in it, and it feels like you're in an air-conditioned room. Like, I mean, the space of it, and it's huge, and I can do so many different things. So I got the tent to do multiple things, to serve as multiple purposes.
So let's ask the question: do you travel?
I do, and I will.
Okay. So you heard that. Listen. So from wherever you're at, I know we got Illinois people, we got Mississippi people, we got Daytona people. Listen to me. It would behoove you, all right, to go to her page, all right? Again, if we could just put something up, and then, so whatever it would take to get her to where you're at, I guarantee you it's going to be a lot more affordable, and it's going to be done extremely, extremely well. So go to her page and check out the things that she's done. It's very, very unique. Rebecca and I are planning on doing one of the, since she's talking so much about this bell tent, I think we're going to go from the bell tent to the pool. What you think, Rebecca? You think we can do that?
Oh, that'd be nice.
We can go from the bell tent to the pool. All right. A couple other things before we shift a little bit here. To those of you that are online, whatever you have in your belly, I want to speak life over it. Elder Jackie, Prophet Jackie did something on Sunday that was really amazing. And I was very blessed by her willingness to be obedient to the Spirit of God and then move out. I'm very much about go after it. If God puts it in you, go after it. You say, well, what if it don't last long? Hey, man, do it for 15 minutes if that's what it's going to be. Do it for 2 days. Listen, if I do it for a month and I win or lose, I make a lot of money, I don't make a lot of money, at least I obeyed God. It was a learning lesson of something. And I know all of us have these reasons and why we don't go after it, yes. Right? Why we don't go after it. I'm actually setting you up for my next question. So you should be, listen, but we have these reasons and why we don't go after it. And honestly, they make us sick. They're poison. And so I just want to speak health over you. If you've ever been around Eric Newell Ministries, you've heard phrases like inspire purpose. You've heard phrases like inspiring people to pursue their purpose. You've heard phrases like go after it. You've heard phrases like don't shrink to fit. Those are all things that are original things that God gave Rebecca and I that we just sow it to people. We sow it to people. You know, I have people saying all the time, you give too much away. Yeah, but guess what? I got so much to give because I'm attached to God. And God, even today, matter of fact, yesterday, Elder Brown and I we was in here. I was on a treadmill, pumping it out, sweating it out, praying in the Spirit. I started praying for him. He started praying for me. And I said, man, Spectrum Entertainment is getting ready to kick off. Oh, boy, we about to. Look, they say you old, but I'm going to be old and young at the same. I'm going to hit them with the 1-2 when my hips start hurt, but I might hit them with a breakdance move early on. But Spectrum Entertainment, we're about to do our first event in September. Are you hearing me? Flyers are being worked on. It's going to be crazy. Laser lights. I'm talking about fresh. And all of a sudden, Elder Brown starts praying. And he says, man, I hear something. I said, man, pray. I said, I hear something. He said, Spectrum Network. I said, oh, he sounds like me. I jumped on the bandwagon. I said, oh, yes, a network. You feel me? It was just like this. I literally almost fell off the treadmill. I said, oh, my God. You don't know what God has on the inside of you. And if you got an idea, get around some manifestors, some influencers, some breakers, some inspirers, some motivators. Do you hear me? This is why you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this conference. Anybody coming with your head hung down, I bet you $1,000 you leave with your head up. And if you don't, it's because you wanted to be sad and you stayed sad. And that's why I won't pay you. No. Anyway, let's move on. I'm serious about this. People, life is short. Not just out of fear, life is short. But man, you want to feel good about living? Do what's in your heart. You hear me? Do what's in your heart. When I got here at 3 o'clock this morning, it wasn't nobody but me. But I'm going to tell you something. I could create that same space when it was me and God at 3, that I got 3-4 people in here right now. Because I'm telling you, the sound of the fire of God, just me and the Lord moving with creativity and writing and dreaming and being. Okay, if you got some things in your belly and you need them woke up, you need to come to this conference so you can be around individuals like this who are not afraid to say, I'm a manifester. I can create it. If I can touch it, I can make it. I can be it. I can do it. You need that in your life. So, Steph, here's my next one. Sexist by Stephanie. Can you tell us what is your life's goal? What is your life's goal? And I don't even want you to look at me when you do it. I want you to look dead in the camera to those that are watching so we capture every bit of footage. What is your life's goal? What is the greatest accomplishment that you want to achieve in your life?
Let me see. Well, there's so many things that I want to achieve in
Come on,
this life.
talk to
I
us.
feel like God has so much for me, even though He has given me several platforms in the past. I feel like I was purpose here to, share the gift with other people. And I know a lot of people get confused sometimes when people say gift, because they try to figure out the difference between a gift and a talent. To me, there's a very big difference between a gift and a talent. A talent, you pay someone to teach you those things. A gift is something that comes from God, and He gives all of us different gifts, but we all execute those gifts in a total different way. And my gift is to actually share with the world how to manifest those things. And going back to when Apostle said manifestation, I feel that anybody can manifest, but there's a process and there's an order for manifestation. And to me, it starts with really deep meditation. And the meditation goes so deep on so many different levels as far as how you begin to manifest in order to be able to share with the world. And that's also to keep a balance in the gifts that I carry and
Nice.
for other people.
Nice.
That's the balance. And it's to really clear all of the negative energies to where you can only hear from God. A lot of times people say, I hear from God, but a lot of times they're hearing from self. And in that self are all those soul ties of other people saying what they can and cannot do. And it hinders the process of manifestation.
Wow.
When it comes to people being able to actually walk in that calling. So for the future, my plans are to really teach people who God created them to be by showing them through my works that God has given me and how I execute them, how it can easily be done. A lot of people allow other people's thoughts and things become their things. And I tell people thoughts become things.
Mhm.
If you think whatever,
Mhm.
and people don't understand how they attract those things to them. I tell people the very thing that you say that it is that you don't want, you attract those things to you by putting them out in the
Wow.
universe.
Wow.
So when I say I'm a manifester, I see myself there. And a lot of people say I see myself, but that's just like me sitting in this car. When you go and test drive a car, how you buy that car is you actually sitting in that car. You turn that car on and you want to take it for a test drive. And if it drive the way that you want it to, if it look the way you want it to look,
Yeah.
if it feels the way that you want it to feel, you make a decision at that point. I see myself in that
That's
car.
good.
To me, that's what a manifestor is.
That's
like
it.
you
That's
have
it.
to see yourself
I see it.
first.
I see
And
it.
when you see yourself,
I see a new
it
studio
becomes that thing.
with air conditioning.
Yeah. It becomes those things. Like I tell people, thoughts become things. That's what a manifestor is.
Yes,
When
sir.
you have the thought, you try to, God give you a vision of how to make it that thing.
Yes.
So for me to teach people, the self-confidence. And I feel like when you have somebody that's very transparent and organic about, the gifts that they have or how to do certain things, it make it more obtainable to
Yeah.
people.
But how did you become like that? How did you?
I really don't know.
That confident,
I feel like, well, it's like this. When I was young, I always saw things so different. I knew that I was different. I always gravitated. I remember when we were little kids, and we used to watch these little cartoons and stuff, and it was these little songs that they would have, and I would always see things like in my mind, but then like the next day or hour later, it's almost like I was reliving that thought, and
Wow.
I would be like, I've seen this before, or like, why is this so familiar to me? But as a child, I didn't know what that really was. And we were watching cartoons and I heard them say deja vu. And that word just kind of stuck with me. And I was like, deja vu, what does that mean? And it's like the older I, got, I was like, okay, so that's what deja vu is.
Right.
To me, being able to see it before it actually happens, or you feeling like you've been in that space before. But I also feel like as a manifestor or a creator, that's how the mind works. Like I tell people, as a creator, I work from the back door to the front door, whereas a normal person, or that's the term I want to say. Not
That's all
saying
right.
that if you're
Talk-
normal,
use-
I
use
know
your phraseology.
Yeah.
Use your
I
phraseology.
feel like, normal people, they see things from the front door to the back door. As an artist, you're working with a blank surface, and it's nothing on that page. And to be able, you're building the layers.
I work best like that.
Yeah.
When there ain't nothing, I work best.
And
Yeah.
so it's like, that's what putting anything together, you're taking it from scratch and you're making it to your own, and you're building those layers as they, form. And that's how you come up with anything, even with a speech or even your sermon. It's like you have some source laying there in front of you, but actually being able to take that and making it your own. Like, even when it comes to my creations, people be like inspired. People take in being inspired as copy. No, that's plagiarism. It's not being inspired. Does not mean take something that somebody has that's original and you tweak it to make it your own. Everything that we've done, even the things that I create, has been done before. But I always ask God to give me something that's going to set mine so apart from anybody else's to where they can't take credit for it.
Right.
And so that's how.
So to make sure I'm clear with this for you all that are watching, your life goal is to be a trainer, a coach, a helper, a manifester for other people. Right? Is that what you were saying to us?
And and to also heal people. I feel like I tell people, like you were over to the house and you were like, Stephanie, he's like, you're on steroids. Like when people see me, like Prophetess Jackie says, Stephanie, people don't even understand, like, to actually be in your space and to be around you and to see you do the things that you do. They don't even understand the magnitude of that. And it's like, sometimes I have to take like a step back, like almost an outer body experience to really see what other people see, because I'm so caught up in what I'm doing at that time. And I tell them it may be a lot for somebody else, but for me, that's my therapy. That's my peace. And then people may be like, why do you need therapy? Everybody needs therapy.
What? What?
Everybody needs therapy.
Look, not after the pandemic. We needed it before the pandemic. You hear me? That is exactly true. So here, a couple of things. And one more, because I need to make sure we are within our time. But so you got an event. You got several events. You're getting ready to do a branding. And I don't have that slide, and I'm sorry. No, that's okay. That's not your fault. That's mine. You're getting ready to do a branding of a training, a teaching. Like, I think you got like 4 of them. Am I correct?
4 different sessions.
4 different sessions. Where can we find that? And tell us about that. Tell us about what that is about. And then where can we find that information?
Well, the workshop is called the Sexist Experience, brand formulation, or branded formulated. And the reason why I came up with formulated branding is because it's a formula to everything that I do. I feel like that's just like people that's good in mathematics. They're very good with equations, with formulas, even a chemist, it's a formula to everything. And it's really to actually, show people how to really manifest that brand and getting it visible. I tell people, attractiveness attracts people visually to your brand.
Yes.
And that's why when he was talking about the business earlier, going in and basically being able to recreate a space to bring the people in, it's all about visual. When you see things, you're attracted to it. That's what make people buy the things that they do. That's what make you want the things that you want. So in this brand building thing, like, I've always been the face of my brand. And I feel like I really show that brand through my everyday living, from the way that I dress, coming into my space, the way that I carry myself, the things that I create. And, a lot of people in their business have a problem with knowing how to bring those people in, but it's so important about you sticking to God's plan. Like I tell people, everything that I do, I pray over, and I ask God to give me permission to move on it. And I ask him to order the footsteps, and I ask him to guide it. See, everybody's process is totally different. And for me, that's the only way that I really know how to move. And I feel like that's what makes my brand stand apart from everybody else's. And I feel like it's a whole lot easier when you allow God to be the one to like give you that vision on everything that it is that you do. So in my brand building is actually to show people everything that I've done, like the timeline from the beginning of my journey to when I actually put it out there. Because you got to go back to what Apostle said. I was 5 when I was brought into this, and I was born into the family, a family of designers, family of builders, construction, upholsterers, so it's nothing that we don't do.
Right.
I did hair for 30 plus years. My daughter is a makeup artist. We've traveled around the world on some of the well-known hair shows, with our fashions, through my aunts, just that whole upbringing. And everybody isn't fortunate enough to do that. And I tell people you can't choose the family that you're born into.
Right.
But I took notice at a young age, I was blessed to be born into an anointed family. I tell people our family is anointed, and it's a difference because every generation, the legacy keeps unfolding and it trickles down through our kids. And like I tell people, I've always brought my kids into my business, and that's a part of the brand building too, is to show people so that they can see the difference in, interested in the workshop. And I was asking her, I said, do you have a logo? And she was like, well, I have my name. I said, well, your name is your logo. I said, because your name is very important to your logo. So it's just to teach people those little small details. And on my application or the registration form, I put on there, dress to impress. A lot of people look at that like, why does she want us to dress to impress? Or they may even ignore it. But see, that's a part of that. That's really like an exercise for them, because people fail to realize your appearance and how you show up for the task plays a major role in how people are going to perceive you. So that's a part of the workshop, being able to present yourself, being bold about it. Because to me, what attract people to my brand, because it is non-conforming. It's for those people that want to be different, people that don't want to see themselves around the corner, people that are comfortable and tapped into who they are as a person. And that's who I am as a designer. I'm very tapped into who I am. And I express that through everything, and I'm bold about it. And people be like, where does that boldness come from? That's just how God created me. And I thank him for it. I thank him for it every day, just because people need to be more comfortable in their purpose that God chose them for, and that's what I do.
You're preaching right now, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. You're preaching right now. We throw a couple of scriptures on top of we got it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so for me, the brand building, and it's also to build the confidence into, helping people to be able to identify who they are as an entrepreneur, to identify who your target market is going to be.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things. And like I said, the first session will lead to another space.
Yeah.
Which is
go ahead.
Which is a total
the first session of your class.
Yeah, the first session
lead you to a next thing.
Yes,
okay, go ahead.
And see, and the purpose of
me
that
all in my life. I'm like, yeah, because this led me to this and this.
Yeah,
keep going. Go ahead.
It's to put you in a total different space, because the first session is going to be, like I said, the timeline of everything that I've created, because I have several different brands, and I want people to see. This is like I tell people, you see the great beginning and they see that good ending. But that middle part is that process, which people don't want to endure. And you have to go through the process in order for you to be able to identify that timeline of growth. And so,
yeah,
I laughed at that because
go ahead and hit it right there.
I laughed at that because, like Apostle said, when I hear myself speak sometimes, but it's just my heart. It's I speak from my heart. I speak what's really in me, and just what God has given me, and that's the only way that I know how to articulate me.
And so here's something that you would be good for you to catch, right? As much as she is a trainer and a helper of these individuals that are coming, people she's been mentoring, her daughter, sons, individuals. She also is a person who is subject or willing to learn, right? Mm-hmm. And so she's got other individuals in her life that are saying, hey, Stephanie, you got to work on this. Hey, Steph, let's work on this. And so what you're hearing and what you're seeing is where God has graced her. We call it the metron, her measure, where her strength, where God has graced her in her strength. She also is working very diligent on those areas she may not have known are to be a strength, right? There are some of you that have things that you're like, I would never do that. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. But you don't even know how much life it's going to be in you doing that, because you're so in the position of being afraid of doing something that when you finally get to a space of doing it and you get over that little initial, I don't know how I sounded. My voice was squeaky. I felt like I had my nose closed and my hair was out of place. And I said something crazy. You're going to be like, listen here. And now you're free within yourself. Now, that might not be you, but that's me all day long. That's me by the pool. That's me at Stephanie's house. That's me at my own house. It don't matter where I'm at. Listen, because when you know that God has graced you to be something, you are well with what you are to be. Now, you're going to have a lot of things vying, challenging, telling you should not be. I mean, the song Fred Hammond comes to mind. There's a blind man on the roadside, and they're telling him he's crying out Jesus, and they're telling him, hush, 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 hush. That's what the whole world is all about. I mean, listen, it's just the system of the world to have people want to hush you down.
Yes.
So what motivates you? This is my last question right here. What motivates? Did I ask that yet?
No.
I haven't asked that. I know I got it on my list, but what motivates you? What keeps you thinking I'm going to do a class? Let's on ready. We're going to do a fashion show, Apostle. Let's take it on the road. You know, what is your motivating factor? Who is it? When is it? Where is it? How is it?
Well, God.
How'd you get it?
Well, God is the motivating factor, and I don't know any other way of putting it, because I know that's who I am, is who and what He created me to do and to be assigned to people. I'm that person that was assigned to come into people's life and be very bold and transparent. Because my friends tell me all the time, like, well, Stephanie, you say you're a lot. And I tell them, and I'm okay with being a lot, because that's the thing that separates me from other people.
They tell me that too.
Is that God needs somebody to be able to tell people the truth. And that's where failure comes in to me with a lot of people, is they don't want to hear the truth. Okay. And then people don't give the truth. And so for me, being as bold as I am is what motivates me. Nice. Knowing that yes. I can touch somebody, yes. And they can grow from, my boldness and just my transparency, and me just really, if they just allow me to come into their space and they accept the criticism. And I tell people, when I come to you a certain way, that means I care. Mm-hmm. If I don't really say too much to you, I don't care. Mm-hmm. And I care, but I don't care enough to care about you. Yeah. But when there are people that I know that God assigned me to, those are the things that motivate me. And it goes back to everything that I do, just even with this, dusk till dawn. I know that's an assignment, because I'm a relationship type person. I was married, and I'm divorced, and I never probably would have gotten, a divorce, but I knew when people say unequally yoked, it was just certain things. The unequally yoked came from him not being able to accept the calling that was on my life.
That's heavy.
And to be able to be bold and walk away from that and truly stick to, okay, God called me to do this. You may not understand, but I love you. But who I am, in order for me to truly be fulfilled and that void is removed from my life, you have to allow me to separate myself and be me.
Do you know the topic that you just jumped on top of?
No. Well, I probably do, but I mean,
I think by you just introducing the fact to those who may or may not know, I know, Rebecca
Mhm.
knows, different people know that you were married and married for a lot of years.
Mhm.
And then understanding why that was so difficult.
Mhm.
There are so many people who would sell their calling, purpose.
Mhm.
Another way of saying it would be Genesis, where Esau sold his birthright.
Mhm.
They would sell their birthright to have somebody
Mhm.
and be miserable.
Yeah.
And be miserable. And to
And I
have
see it all the time.
man, and to have that level of boldness to say, I'm willing to be single and be by myself and maximize God until the Lord brings
Mhm.
me whoever he desires. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's phenomenal. And for those of you who don't know, she does want to be married again. You got it? Okay. She does. So it ain't like
thing
she
about it, you God gonna have to skillfully craft you, because I
you hear that, brother?
like
You're gonna have
he
to
said,
be fearfully and wonderfully made, that your soul gonna know right well. Yeah, she said she still want a man in her life, but you're gonna have to be skillfully crafted. Child, listen, me and Stephanie, I promise you, Stephanie and I could go on and on because relationship one, but also like spirit. And then she is that personality style that God is designing, not just for women. You hear me?
Mhm.
When I saw you a minute ago, and I'm just saying this, and I know you've done some of this, but I saw a lot of young ladies around you.
Mhm.
I saw a class of young ladies, but it wasn't just, it went from young girls to just women, just women, right? But I know you're not, that ain't, I'm not trying to prophesy, so you hear. She's heard me say something similar. I'm not trying to prophesy she cannot mentor men. I'm saying, but instantly when I looked at you, I saw that. And so I want to just put that in your spirit, because that might be something a lot closer than it is farther off.
No, I do it all the time. I actually, you know, out of all the years that I did hair, you know, I always saw things on my clients, and I was always mentoring to them. And actually, I used to work with RAP, which is for battered women and children,
Wow.
and for Pathways. One of my clients, she actually has, well, she's a friend of mine. She has her own business now. It's a mental health facility, Positive Living Group. But their approach to mental illness isn't the traditional way. The whole setup of it is to make people not feel like they're in a mental institution. And so I've done clients over the years to actually go to court to, you know, face the person that abused them. And during the time they were there, it's just like God just would open up the doors to where I would just actually see everything about this person and just start talking to them. So I've been doing that over the years. And like I tell people, I've done this my whole life. And when I started really going to church, you know, and being around church people, like I tell people, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. And a lot of religious people will say, well, that's crazy. Well, to me, it's not, because when you speak about in the spirit, you know, to me, that's like an energy, that's a force, that's something that is a portal that opens up in the mind that allows you to be able to receive the spirit. So, you know, for me, when I say that I'm spiritual, you know, God would just open up that door for me. And but people wanted to put all these titles on me. I said, no, that's just me. That's just how I speak. But to me, that's just a part of who I am. And it's just a gift in me being able to see things in a total different way than church people normally do. It's the same thing in a sense, but it's just Stephanie's way of doing it.
There is a defined call, though, so I'm just go ahead and say that right now.
Mhm.
We gonna call it, but we ain't gonna call it right away. Just so you know, I have the wonderful opportunity with Teacher Rebecca and a whole host of elders, listen, to be in her life. And so, yes, you heard that. They try to put a lot of labels, and I get it, because if we can label something, we can somewhat understand it better. You can also pre-label something
Mhm.
and not clearly understand that it can be larger or broader than what we think.
Mhm.
So there is a defined calling that we will speak to later. Not right now. Okay, now listen. Can you put the Trumpeter's Call flyer up there one more time? I saw my friend Adrian Taylor on the Vision Cast. What did I say? Trumpeter's Call. I'm sorry. Thank you for getting me together. There it is. You see it. I hope you have enjoyed this interview. We tried to select individuals that we had not specifically interviewed before. I know that we're looking for some more time with you all after the conference to really go through some unpacking. But Bishop Mark, I did not do an interview with him, and Prophet Jackie and Elder Brown's on me quite a bit. And so I just decided to just forego because of time's sake, not because of any other reasons. But I hope that you've enjoyed the ones that we have. Again, the fashion show Friday night. You need to go to Eventbrite. You hear me? Listen, and if you want, we're going to be streaming it. And if you want, you can't be here. Okay, if you can't be here, we'll stream it to you. But you're going to have a code. So just go in and say, I want the mobile aspect. And so we're going to be streaming it. We're going live. You hear me? We're going around the world. Inspire Purpose Television. I'm gonna have my gear on, and there was a little card that said, "Welcome to Inspire Purpose Television. Sexes by Stephanie Fashion Show, linen and denim for the first time." We going live. You hear me? Not just live to you, live around the world. Listen, we're gonna have some giveaways at the conference. Bishop Mark, thank you so much for always being so generous to be a support. Envision, that's Elder Neil's ministry or his business. Thank you so much for this conference is powered by Envision, and it's powered by Eric Newell Ministries. I want you to hear me clearly, and thank you for the assistance of Inspiring and other individuals who have come along. But a lot of the cost and the expense is coming from those two major spaces. And so if you would like to sow a seed, please do, because we're doing it big. This is large, everyone. This is really, really large. I'm excited. It's been 3.5 years since I've been able to even communicate it and even bring it to the table like this. But it's unfolding. It's coming to pass. I praise God for it. And there's more to come. You want to be at the conference because there's some new releases that are going to be happening at the conference that you won't hear about anywhere else. And so again, Sexes by Stephanie Wilbourn. We so appreciate you for enlightening us, bringing manifestation to the table. I'm a manifester. Somebody need to write that in there. Like,
You're supposed to be bold about it.
You got to be bold about it.
If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will.
Listen, I think they say, what they say, come large or go home or be big or something like that. Listen, be bold or be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Be bold and be quiet. Again, I am Eric Newell. God bless you so much. So looking forward to all of you that are going to be with us. Don't let anything get in your way, okay? Don't let anything get in your way. Father, I thank you so much this morning for your grace and your mercy extended to all of your people. Father, I just pray that you would awaken the dreamer in the lives of the people that are on this line and those that will hear it later. Pray that there was something to God that this manifester, this influencer, and this breaker said that caused somebody to say, it's time for me to step up, time for me to move out, time for me to put some work to what God has put in my belly. Father, I pray against the frustration, the procrastination, and the anxiety that's inside of people because they just won't do what you said. You've already endorsed them. You've already put it there. Now, God, you want them to put it in the earth so the rest of the world can partake of it. So, Father, we ask that you would just keep us all safe, bring our guests from across the highways well. Father, the further preparation that we have, may we be in right spirit and right mind. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. Young lady, thank you much. You did it. You knocked it out the park. Boom! That ball is still going. Thank you, guys. We'll see you at the conference.